Welcome back to another episode of Closing the Gap.
Motorsport Diaries,
I am Ari,
and I am Aranza.
and we are back with an episode pretty much leading on to the. It wasn't really a summer break. Like, I think this year, like the way the calendar
This is
works,
the worst summer break
right?
we've ever had. Like, I'm glad
Because
as a
it's not
fan,
really
I'm glad because it was like, what, a week and a half, maybe. I'm sure they had to, like, themselves,
yeah, before
after,
being back.
yeah, because they still had to debrief and then they have to, what is it, pre brief.
Yeah, I like coming
So,
back from the
yeah.
break. I feel like this is what I agree with Max when he complains about having to fit so many races
So
in one
many.
calendar year. Not even, let's leave aside which we've talked about, like the logistics of, like carrying the entire circus from one place to the other. Just stuff like this. In order to fit more races in a calendar year, there's completely like breaking up the summer break right smack in the middle of it,
Yeah.
right? I agree that like it's probably like Qatar and all that weather wise. Obviously, looking after the drivers and the teams, it's so hot. We saw that right, like the
Yeah.
season before last, and
Singapore
yeah,
is
Singapore and
always a
Qatar, all
mess.
that, where the drivers come out of the car and they're just like
Brazil
pretty
last
much
year.
right, like fainting or spending an
Oh my
entire race with puke in
gosh.
their helmet. Like, agreed,
Yeah.
that should not be happening. But I don't know if breaking the summer break into half is the way forward, to be
No,
honest
not
with
at
you.
all. It's not good for anybody because you only get so much time, free time
Yeah.
before, you have to get back in. And even then, because they have so many sponsors work that they have to do,
Yeah.
there's so much.
Yeah, a couple of
There's
them
very
didn't
little
really get
time.
like much of a
Any
break,
break, yeah, at
like
all.
a week if that.
That's what I'm
So,
saying, a week maybe and a
yeah.
half, but
So we're heading back into Spa this upcoming race weekend.
yes, the
And
Belgian GP.
we took a break. We took a break,
We
right?
also took a break. Did we actually? We took a break from the podcast, but we've been working.
Right, yeah, no, this is summer is busy for us work wise.
Very busy.
But we are going to start this, I think for this episode, we're going to do the review of Formula One Academy and
Yes.
kind of put it against the review of the F1 movie, which you all should have seen by
I
now.
hope you all saw it by now because there will be some spoilers.
We can start congratulating
Yes!
back to back
Patito!
wins from Pato O'Ward
Yes.
and IndyCar League Toronto this last weekend.
Yes.
Granted, it was under what we would know as safety car, right, in F1. But he definitely did all the taking
That
over. He
doesn't
put
matter.
on
He
an
won.
amazing race, and it's back to back. He comes from having won top step, right, first
Mm-hmm.
race right before that one as well. So we're
Yes.
very happy for him, rooting for him as usual. Our Mexican IndyCar king, and
Yes. In
it was a
disbelief.
very amazing race, by the way. Like, if you're not into IndyCar, it was kind of like the
It's
Silverstone version of
chaotic.
it was a
It's
Silverstone version
chaotic.
of IndyCar. It's a great race for you to, if you're not into IndyCar yet, watch this last race in Toronto. I promise you, you'll become a fan
And you know
afterwards.
what? I did see a lot of people on TikTok like, there's no race weekend. What am I gonna do? And they did watch IndyCar. There's a lot of people confused.
Right, because
And
it
it
operates
just
so
takes, yeah,
differently than
it takes a
F1.
bit, but it's fun. It's a fun
It's
watch.
so entertaining. Like, if you are into motorsport because it entertains you, your next step is IndyCar. Like, it has to be.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to like somebody that's been killing it. Not that it's new, but Mark Marquez for MotoGP.
Yes,
He's just
MotoGP.
literally just. I feel like Lewis Hamilton. Like when he was in his 7 year reign, Max Verstappen on his 4 year reign. He's just like
Yeah,
ticking them
well,
off.
just both brothers, even
Yeah,
though they're on
the Marquez
opposite team,
brothers.
the Marcus brothers are doing
Yeah, they're on
it.
something else. So
Yeah,
shout out to
P1,
them.
P2 pretty much the entire season except like these past couple races have been off,
Yeah.
but
And I feel
wow,
like a lot of people found
that's
out about
insane.
Mark Marcus because of his
Because
aura farming video. Even Complex put it on their socials.
yeah,
I was
they
like,
did.
that's Mark Marcus. You're welcome, world.
Yeah.
More people should get into MotoGP as well. I know there's
Yeah,
a lot to do, but
it's very entertaining. Their onboards, I'm just gonna warn you guys right now, their onboards are not very
not
kid
for the faint
friendly.
heart. Right?
They're not kid friendly. It is a lot of butt in your face.
Yeah, don't watch it with your kids on a Sunday morning. That's all we're going to say.
We warned you.
Spa coming up. You want to talk about, like we said, we're gonna do a review against Formula One Academy documentary, against the F1 movie, and a lot of how women were portrayed in both, right? But before we get into that, do we want to talk about just, like, quickly,
The rumor mill?
the rumor mill, like, like what's been going on this part
Well,
one of the
one
summer break?
rumor that has been confirmed that I am personally very, very happy about. Unfortunately, it's very bittersweet, but as just a Red Bull fan, you don't know how long I've been waiting for this day. They have finally fired Christian.
Right,
Can we
right.
get some cheers in the
Yeah,
crowd?
we hadn't talked about it in the podcast. We did like an emergency, right? Like kind of
Yeah,
like just for
it just took
socials,
everybody
but
by storm.
we hadn't
Yeah,
talked about it on the podcast. So yeah,
that's
I feel like
crazy.
99% of the people were happy about him being dismissed from operations.
I think
He's
this is
still, so I think this is something that a lot of content didn't cover. On his speech to everybody at the factory, he did say he's still employed by Red Bull, just
yes.
not operationally,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yeah, he
So
still is a part of Red Bull. He's just not going to be their team principal. There's going to be a different role for him. But yeah,
what do we think that looks like?
he,
Or is it just for now?
I hope it's not for now.
Right.
I- He's been with them pretty much since the beginning. So I think it might just be a temporary setback, which I would not want, but it might just be a little temporary downgrade.
I saw it. It was controversial, I think. Because you would see like a lot of on social media, mostly people saying, and mostly men, to be honest with you, saying, but he's done so much for the team, 20 years, he built the team. We're not taking away what he did for Red Bull, and the
Right.
fact that he did was a huge part of building up the team all these years.
Yeah.
But then again, you make mistakes and you need to be accountable for your actions on and off track. So the people that on anywhere outside of the garage are standing by him, like, you're on the wrong side of
And you know what? I think what made
things.
me a little bit more okay because at first I was like, wait, this is huge because Christian has been a big part of this. Like, he's, obviously he had the scandal last year, and I was hoping that's when they would have announced him to be gone, but no.
Clearly, that wasn't reason enough.
And so, what made me really like be like, oh, wait, this is really happening. This is good. This is going to be a good thing is when ex mechanics were commenting on social media that they
Even
were happy about
podcasts,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, and going on podcasts and saying, like, this is a good move. This is great.
Speaking of podcasts, if you are a fan of IndyCar, we go back to that. This relates back to Cadillac. Pato O'Ward didn't have internet for a while, right? Like, we all
That
heard
was
about that.
so funny.
And as
He
soon as
made
he
it
got
everybody's problem.
as soon as he got his Wi-Fi back, he went to a couple of podcasts, right? And this one's not confirmed, but it's still a rumor that keeps going on harder and harder as weeks go by. Checo to Cadillac.
Yes.
Pato, if you don't know what we're talking about, Pato in one of the podcasts said he basically he said for himself that was never really a thing, that he was never
He was
approached,
just
that
joking.
that right, that like fans probably hoped for that because they wanted an all Mexican lineup, but that he really wasn't never like a name on the table.
Yeah.
As far as he knows. But he did say, I know or I've seen Checo training. So he wouldn't be training if he wasn't coming back, right? So he basically kind of
Confirmed that he's
confirmed
coming
Checo to
back.
Cadillac. So if that's the case,
But he's not the only one that does. If you know who Diego Mejia is, he is very big on F1 Mexico, Latin America.
yeah,
Um, he from the get-go was kind of like, I have confirmation that Checo has signed a contract.
Yeah.
So there's a contract that has been signed, and on the podcast that Checo went on, he said, I have not signed anything. That man is a liar.
Yeah, and
Never
also he's
trust
not
him.
going to release it like
No,
that, right? Like
obviously not.
obviously Cadillac
But
have that.
it's been a thing that people have known. Like there is a contract that has been
Yeah.
signed, and I'm so ready for him to be back.
Checo to Cadillac. Like that's all we know right now, and that's all we're choosing to believe. It's happening. Everybody's saying it. There's already merch with his name with the Cadillac brand in Mexico City. So,
Mexico is
what other
ready for
confirmation do you need?
anything. Yeah, Mexico will make merch for Checo in every single team, hoping to get it
Overnight.
right.
Hoping to get it right.
He said,
Stop.
I don't care as long as he's there. I will support any team that he's in. And it's true.
And we might extend a little bit on this one, but I feel like it's worth circling back to this. Do we? I'm not gonna say do we all remember because I mean this was so long ago. But if we circle back to Checo to Cadillac, wrapping up the Cadillac subject, it's still like a big question mark on the second seat because apparently Mick's name is back on since Bottas
And so
might
is
be moving to
Joe.
Alpine.
Joe's name is on
Oh,
their list. too.
yeah. Okay, but my thing is, Bottas, Alpine wants Bottas.
Yes, they do. For
So,
what reason? Who knows?
I mean,
your
Flavio's
car
never gonna
first.
get this one right. Yeah, I'm
Fix your car.
sorry.
First. It's not your driver's. Fix your car. We've said this before. Say it again. Fix your car.
Yes.
She has it printed out.
I have it. I have it printed out. But I thought it's not gonna get this right. It's not the drivers.
No.
To bring Bottas from his current contract into Alpine and having him go through all these hoops just for him to drive an Alpine car, I don't think it's worth it. If moving down the line that prevents him from joining Cadillac, as a Mick Schumacher fan, yay. But I don't really want
It's
that
not
for
the right.
Valtteri, you
No,
know?
it's not
It's
the
not
right
the right
move for
call.
him. Yeah, no, he still has so much to do as far as F1 goes, and
And he's such a good driver.
yes,
Don't put him in an Alpine car.
unfortunately, if he does go to Alpine, like I think that's the end of his career.
Don't say
Which I hope it's not, but if he does, there's no coming back from that for him. Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how this is gonna pan out. But here's
It'll
what
be
I
fun.
know. Circling back to Red Bull,
Not
right?
here's what I know.
Max Verstappen might make the jump to Mercedes. We said Christian Horner leaving Red Bull is the aftermath of two things. Either literally the last try for Red Bull to keep Max under their current contract, and Horner needed to be out the window for Max to stay, or Max is pretty much out the door and they are cleaning house, right? Starting from the bottom, in which case, who the heck is going to drive for Red Bull? So basically, this is what I was referring to. Like I said, I'm not going to say do we all remember because some of us might not have been around then. I count myself.
Probably just have terrible memories and don't remember.
No, I mean this has been a minute. Daniel Kvyat was still at Red Bull.
oh, that was wild.
Yeah, it's been a minute, right? But Helmut Marko has always said the wrong thing at the wrong time. I feel like, right? We're used to it. He's there. He's just like a statue, like a figure at the Red Bull garage. But he did say something back then that stuck with me, and it was that one of the main reasons, I'm not saying obviously Max Verstappen is one of the most talented drivers of all time. Nobody's ever gonna say anything against that.
Right.
But
nobody's ever saying that.
But one of the reasons why Max came from the junior team up to Red Bull, according to Helmut Marko, was because they really needed to separate Carlos Sainz Sr. and Jos Verstappen.
Jos Verstappen. I remember this.
Right?
I remember this.
Right? So they said one of the key factors on moving Max up was so Jos and Carlos Sainz Sr. would stop
bickering.
Yeah, going at each other every weekend because Carlos and Max were racing in the junior Red Bull team, correct?
And that goes back to when we were saying it would never work for Carlos to be at Red Bull. Not just because Carlos would not want to be, it's because of their dads. because it's happened before.
Exactly, because this has been, like there's history that it doesn't work. Like those two in the team, even though they might love each other as teammates, their parents just don't get on the same page. And knowing how much of a strong like character Carlos Sainz Sr. has and Joss has, and the influence that he has or had on the Red Bull garage was
Yeah.
that big, it would have never worked. But now Christian Horner is no longer in Red Bull. Newey is in Aston Martin. So I feel
Yeah.
like if the Max move to Mercedes happens, it's going to trigger all like Hamilton to Ferrari all over again. And who's
Right.
going where, right? Because
It's
if
gonna be
Red
a
Bull wants
flip
Fernando,
flop.
for example, which is it has been one of the scenarios that people have pitched,
Hmm.
Fernando too, which I don't think so because Adrian is at AM, right?
Yeah, I don't think, honestly,
Or do we think that
no,
now the
I don't.
Verstappen name is out of the Red Bull garage? Would Carlos consider it? So many questions.
Mm,
You don't think Fernando to Red Bull? Why?
because Aston Martin is locked in with Lance and Fernando till Fernando decides he's done,
Yeah.
and until Lance decides he's done. I don't think there's going to be any movement, although it would be smart on their part to have some movement. It's not happening
Yeah.
because they also know that their car is not the best. They're still figuring out their car.
This year,
And yeah, and Lance and Fernando are, they know what it works. They know what if you put a new driver into, that's just messing up their entire what they've worked up
what
to.
they were, what
Yeah.
they've worked up to this year. But I feel like, no disrespect, obviously, to anybody in the sport, but I feel like knowing that so many regulations are coming in 2026, a lot of the first year drivers for their respective teams this year in certain teams, this year has been kind of like a let's throw it out, right?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna start anew anyway next year. So unfortunately, Carlos and Williams, like Yuki and Red Bull, and
Yeah.
obviously Liam, and we can even say, um, well, Nico and Gabriel have been doing really good at Audi, but next year is like a whole nother monster. So with so many
Yeah.
regulations, Adrian Newey
There's also going to be a
probably,
lot of new rules and stuff that not just within the team changes, but also within the sport. There's a lot of things changing.
and the car itself is going to change so much next year. And
Hmm.
like we said, like coming from 24 to 25, a lot of things were not going to change, but for 26 it's going to be a whole
A
new
lot.
monster.
Hmm.
The car that's going right now on Aston Martin is technically not Adrian's car, right? But next year's it will be.
Yep.
So it's like I also feel like Fernando's locked in AM, but I'm pretty sure Red Bull will come with offers ablazing to whoever they
Oh yeah,
choose to
I
offer,
think so
right?
too.
So, and without Christian like at the top, it's gonna be Mekis is such a good team lead, like team principal too. I feel
He
like
is.
he
He's
is
very
going, yeah,
underappreciated.
he's done such an amazing job at racing bulls. So I don't think we should discard, even if Max leaves. I think that's my whole point. Even if Max does leave,
Hmm.
where is George going? Right? We should not. Obviously, nobody's writing
Okay,
off Red Bull.
hold on. Why do we think it's George and not Kimi?
I don't know.
Why do
I
we
don't
think
know
it's George and not Kimi? Although
because
just, I also think it would be George.
right, like why are you coming at me? We all agree on this. Kimi is
Listen,
not
I
Kimi.
also think it would be George because
Kimi is the Leclerc of Mercedes.
no, he's the Verstappen of Mercedes. Well, Toto hopes he is the Verstappen of Mercedes. So he's probably not going anywhere.
He is the real Il Predestinato. He's actually
Okay.
Italian, okay?
Anyways, yeah, on a German team. Moving on.
There's so many things are up in the air. I think as Max gets confirmed to go to Mercedes, it's just like throwing all the cards up in the air again.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh my god, last year was so crazy because of that Lewis
Those
to Ferrari. I don't think it's going to be as big as this because there are teams that are pretty locked in, like Sauber or Audi is pretty locked in for next year. Aston Martin is locked in for next year. McLaren is locked in for the next 40 years.
basically.
And like there's so many teams that are already really solid that are not going to be there's not going to be much
Movement.
budge. Yeah. So there's only so much they can do with quite little teams. The only one that really is kind of options is Cadillac, but they also kind of seem to be trying to be locked in with only a certain amount of people. I do hope they surprise us and it's someone that hasn't been thrown in the air. Other than Checo, please sign Checo. Thank you. But yeah.
I would love Mick, to be honest with you. I don't know, maybe Bottas to Red Bull. I wouldn't put it past Laurent to upgrade Hadjar this soon because Red Bull doesn't know any better than to just, like throw you on the deep end of the pool. But the Hadjar's clearly like a innate talent.
I feel
but he
like
still
they
needs
probably
time.
asked him and he said no, not yet, which would be smart for him to do.
I don't think they asked them though. That's the thing.
No, I'd be like, absolutely not.
You're
got me
doing
messed
it.
up. You have me messed up. I'm not driving that. You drive it first.
You were gonna say something about George. What makes me think it's George?
I was just saying, like, what makes you think it's George? Like I said, I also think it's George, but what makes everyone think George is gonna get cut when he's invested, or well, also Toto's invested a lot. As much as
George
Toto's
was
invested,
the Mercedes project for
yeah,
a while.
as much as Toto has invested in Kimi, he's also invested in George. So it's more of a how much does Toto want Max that he's willing to sacrifice two of the drivers that he's invested the most amount of time in. And maybe after Lewis leaving after investing so much time, it probably is not going to hit him as hard to just let George go or let Kimi go. But I don't know.
The only thing I have to back my opinion on is if history has taught us anything, right? If Kimi was as disposable as everybody that thinks is Kimi versus George, we would have seen it last year. Kimi would have gone to Williams. Sure. Right? Because Carlos was definitely an option for them. And if they were willing to sacrifice 1 year of Kimi growth, Kimi would have gone to Williams 2 years, and Carlos would have taken a 2-year deal at Mercedes.
But at the same time, I think Toto has also been very invested in Kimi being Max 2.0, that I don't think he really cared to not to have Kimi not be in the team for this year.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
Needed him to be in the team for this
year. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he needed him to be already in the first team last year.
Yes.
So what makes us think he's gonna let go now?
Right. We're in agreement. It's just different ways of saying it.
It's George.
Anyways,
you guys,
George.
It's George.
Please update your LinkedIn if you need any help.
LinkedIn, stop.
If you need any help, I heard Daniel Ricciardo is really good at keeping his LinkedIn updated.
The astronomer CEO also. You can.
Oh yes, you can hit him up too.
Coldplay sponsoring LinkedIn's now changes, I think. Oh, those jokes are never gonna get old. I don't care what anybody says. All right. Well, does that complete the rumor mill?
I think
there was a little bit going on with Charles Leclerc, but I mean, all those rumors are no foundation to them whatsoever.
That man is staying in Ferrari
forever until we're all gray and old.
Yeah.
All right.
So that car works.
So forever. All right.
F1
so
Academy.
We're very excited for Spa, but yes, let's move on to F1 Academy. We're more excited for now that we're going back into F1 Academy. Zandvoort last year was one of the F1 Academy races. We are very excited for Zandvoort because we're gonna be there, right? But it's such a big plus for us that the girls are gonna be running at Zandvoort. And if you've seen the F1 Academy documentaries, granted they don't have that many races, 6 races out of the 24 that the guys do. It's not a lot. It's the 4th, right?
Right.
But I think Zandvoort is just an interesting circuit, and then for them to race there it's such good entertainment.
It is.
And experience for them, really, like, because obviously the goal is for them to keep going up a different category. So Zandvoort, I think, is one of the best training grounds.
So, as you mentioned, they only have 6 seasons on F1 Academy, but all the girls, they don't only go to those 6 races. They are also in other motorsports. Like, I don't think any of them are in F4, but some of them did testing for Formula E.
Yeah.
And then some of them are in like GB3 and
a couple of them also did. Didn't they do
Goodwood?
Festival of Speed.
Yes. Yes.
last week as well.
And Leah got to test out one of the old Williams, like F1 cars. Oh my god, that was so. There was so much going on just in Goodwood, like just in general. There's
Goodwood, yeah.
Everybody was there. It was great.
Gabriel was there.
Gabriel was there.
A couple of the girls were also there. They're testing F1 Academy racers. The girls are in Zandvoort this week.
Yes, they are.
Testing around the circuit. It's raining cats and dogs, so a lot of the circuit is kind of like damaged. But
they're really getting some training in.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to rain on race weekend anyway, so
which
good for them.
I'm personally not happy about because we're going to be there and I'm going to be cold, but
it's not going to be cold. It's just like there's rain, but it's not cold. If you guys have been to Zandvoort, let us know what you have worn and what has worked and what hasn't. I'm full on planning on just taking boots. Just boots every day because one thing, I don't mind the rain, I mind the mud. So
true.
That's that.
Yeah.
F1 Academy review, Netflix documentary. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. It is so good. I think opening remarks is it does the sport justice. What do you think?
I think it does it justice. I would say just one thing before you do watch it and want to watch any of the races for this season. Last season's rules, and the season that is on Netflix, those rules are completely different from this year's rules. If you want to know this year's rules, we do have a video on it already. Go watch that for this year's rules. That way you're not confused when you're watching the documentary and go to watch a race and you see that it's completely different.
Yeah.
They're not following the rules.
Yeah, the regulations that they had for the 2024 season have completely, well, not completely, but for the most part, in a big percentage change for the 2025 season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch the documentary and that you saw the episode that we made about it and you were confused, it's because she addressed the regulations that are going on for the 2025 season.
Yes.
So if there is a second season of F1 Academy, obviously it will reflect on what's been happening this year with those regulations. And like we've said, they've only been racing for 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So regulations on a sport, on a category that is that new, will keep changing, probably from season to season. But like we learn as we go.
Exactly.
And
they also learn as they go.
But yeah. So what are your opinions on the F1 Academy documentary on Netflix?
Okay. We did touch on this quite a bit, or actually you got pretty into this topic.
So we got I think we try to do it episode by episode, and we did like a first 3 episodes, right? First 3, yeah.
So now we're covering the last 4. But I do want to go back to this opinion because it will go back into when we talk about the F1 movie. Bring back the opinion of Bianca, the portrayal of Bianca, and how that was so not nice for women to be portrayed as that, because she says multiple times, and all the girls multiple times say they have to pay out of their own pocket to do this. Single seaters is expensive. That's why most people don't do it. You have to have sponsors. You have to make your own money to pay for everything. So when they're not actually racing, they are either working on something, training for something else, or on other circuits trying to get sponsors as well. It's very difficult to do single seaters if you don't have the money to back you up. So that's one thing I do want to say, because the portrayal of Bianca, because of this, is not it's not a good representation.
It's not an accurate representation either. I mean, we don't obviously know her,
mm-hmm.
but if you are going to paint one of them like that just to kind of have some animosity between the racers, like, why do you just, it's very unfair to just do it on one. Obviously it's just like the guys
out there,
right? Like, just there's no clear rivalries. They all talk to each other. They all hang out off track. There is no animosity. There's not one bad guy. So same in the F1 Academy, there's not like the one bad girl. They all have their things on track, and then they talk about it and they get over it. Bianca, I feel like, was painted to be the villain of this season, of this story. She's really not.
Which, the fact that her being the villain is making money so she can stay in F1 Academy, that's what you guys are villainizing, her making money.
And I think
And it's more of the way that she's making money that they're villainizing, but still, it's the same thing. Just
So many people are making money that way, so I don't understand why that had to be highlighted for the show,
yeah,
because definitely, obviously, it is sometimes the work that goes into a show like this is highlighting things to create drama.
it's the reality of the sport, and they just use it to make
Yeah.
non-existent drama.
And
Which
then talking about, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, which, you know, if you want to hear the rest of the spiel, because she really went into it on the other, and I agree on all points. In the last episode, she really went in on this. Please watch. But
That's the episode.
we just needed to touch on it
Yeah.
again because it will be mentioned as far as the F1 movie goes and the portrayal of women.
Right. For the Bianca thing, the brief we did was on the episode, the Spanish GP
Yes.
episode, which I think was 3. Go look it up.
Yes.
And then speaking of Bianca, I think I personally, one of the notes that I made to talk about on the podcast was the difference in, granted, we know that we don't see all of it, what happens behind the scenes, but I know for a fact that the sometimes what struck me a little bit was the professionalism or
Mhm.
lack of the way some of the coaches express in the show,
Oh my gosh,
right? Like the
yes.
difference between, and we know obviously this is F1 Academy and then it's F4, F3, but the difference of you, even though we have witnessed some exchanges with the engineers over the radio in F1 and
Mhm.
F2, some, what really struck me, like for example, Abby Pulling's coach,
Mhm.
the way they react sometimes, on their reactions on the things they're doing off track, like some of it just seems so unprofessional. It's like, why
Yes.
would you? And then maybe if you say like, oh, she was on the track and the coach or the engineer or whoever reacted in a certain way, but no, once they get off the car, because they
They
tell it to
continue.
them, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's so detrimental
Yeah.
to like the an
But
athlete's mental.
you know what? As an ex-athlete, it's a thing. It's a thing because I used to have, I think I only ever in my life only ever had one female coach, and she was still pretty harsh with us, and like still not to that point because sometimes they tell them stuff that it's like she didn't need to know that. Like she
Yeah.
knew that herself. She didn't need you to confirm something that she already knew and was already beating herself up for. And that's not just for the women too. Like there's a lot of stuff in F1 for the guys too that it's like they didn't need to know that. They just need you to back up like, hey, they know they did something wrong. Just say, you did something wrong. Okay, you know what you did wrong. All right, work on it. Perfect. Give them that space
Yeah.
to be able to be like, okay, yep, I know what I did. I don't need you to berate me for it and tell me something that I already know.
And that's the thing, that it's the berating, right? It's not like just like rehashing it. It's just they go in from what we've seen obviously on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I get it that it's like a budget version of things and whatnot, but I feel like the bar for the professionalism on track should be raised, in a sense that you don't see this in the big leagues. And what I personally would love people to understand is that F1 Academy is the top category in women's motorsport single
Yeah.
seaters. So it doesn't get higher than that. This is what you need to pass in order to move on to try and compete in Formula 1 one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the women, that's it. That's the top. And then you need to move through it in order to move up, right? So why aren't all of the, I'm not saying all of them. I'm pretty sure there's people that meet all of the requirements and then some.
Right.
But from what we saw on the actual show, and that it's what a lot of the people are going to go off, um, the professionalism for some of the people in those teams is just not there. And
Yeah.
I think they would benefit from stepping it up in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Like I get that you're frustrated. I understand the frustration. Just figure out your wording to you wouldn't talk like
Your
that to
delivery, right?
yeah, your
Yeah.
delivery about it. Like it's okay to be upset. Obviously, you're gonna be upset if you're not, your driver's not being at the top, but also take into account that they are a human being. They You don't need to tell them something they already know that they messed up. Like in the moment, it's fine, get frustrated, but when you're talking to somebody, talk to them like a person. Be like, hey, you know what you did wrong? Yeah, okay, cool. how can we
Yeah,
fix this? Not why do you keep doing this? It's how can we fix it?
yeah. Bianca's coach is the prime example of that as well. Um, but that being said, there's also, I personally loved so much and so many of the women and the way they were actually portrayed on screen. Obviously, Susie Wolf being one of them, and how, and they portray her in all of her faces, if I'm going to word it that way.
Okay.
You know, like just being very straightforward and very cutthroat, the way that you need to be in this sport with the girls, kind of saying like, you know, this is it, and you need to, you know, you need to show up and do the work
Mm-hmm.
and do the best you can because this is it. If there's, she didn't sugarcoat things, which
Yeah.
I love her for.
Right.
And I feel like when she needed to be supportive, she's so supportive. And it's hard to be respected in a sport that is mostly men,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to have her be have her shown on the show as, you know, like she's a caring, supportive person. She's also like all business. She's also very cutthroat, and she's also very square in a sense. And
Mm-hmm.
just have her be respected in all 360 um content that we saw of her, I think that definitely is going to do wonders for the sport.
Yes. I think it's also very, everyone takes her opinion very highly because she knows what it's like. She's driven an F1. She knows what it's like. She knows what it takes to get there. And she truly is rooting for every single one of these
Yes,
girls. It's, and you can tell when she does actually tell Bianca that, you're no longer going to be with
McLaren.
McLaren anymore. It's very like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm letting you know, but, I'm rooting for you wherever you go from here.
Whatever stakes
I'm
for you.
behind you. Yeah. And you can see that. And even when Bianca was having her issues throughout the season, you can tell that Susie was like, well, how can you help her to do stuff
Yeah,
when her own coach wasn't, in that space of how can I help her, instead of he was kind of like, why is she doing this? So, it's one of those things where she came in and was like, okay, but what can we do to help
to
her be
help
more
you. Yeah,
confident in herself, or just help her, with the car or anything like that? What can we do? And that,
yeah.
I think that was really nice of her.
And she's very genuine. Like you would be able to tell, and you are able to tell when people are not being genuine or just for the cameras. And Susie genuinely is there for every single one of the girls. And I just
And she's
honestly,
there
it
for the
gives me.
racing too.
She's
The
there.
way she gets into these races is so fun to watch because if there's like a crash or there's something going on with penalties or anything like that, she's there. She's like, oh, that's gonna be a penalty.
Yeah,
And you see her like, oh my god, why would they do that? She really gets
she
into the
gets into
races,
it.
and she gets, she's there for all of it from beginning to end. She is there for all of
And for example, like one of the big ones for me was Leah Blocks's mom.
it.
She was also, the way that she came across on the show, I think was very inspiring for women, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you've seen the show and if you know, Leah's dad passed, right?
Yes.
Before she got into single seaters, she did rally before she did Formula One Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So um just like she's such a strong woman, they are kind of, you know, like fulfilling her late
His
husband's
legacy.
last wish.
Mm-hmm.
and and she's so strong in the way she speaks to Leah, like, you know, like you're being too harsh on yourself, but at the same time you need to be disciplined if you really need to want to make this happen.
Yeah.
But you can always tell it's Leah's choice
Mm-hmm.
to be there and push herself to the limits that she pushes herself to, and the mom is just there to support her. But you can tell she's got such a good head on her shoulders, and she's such a strong role model, I think, for Leah and for all of the girls on the grid.
Yeah.
It's just like, and I thought that was like a great addition to the show, like Leah's, like to cover Leah's mom. It was
Mm-hmm.
just chef's kiss. I love that they included
Yeah,
her.
I agree. I think what I really liked was the relationship between the Alcabasi sisters.
Oh
That
yes.
oh, they're so funny.
They
They're
are, they
so
really
funny
are.
and so supportive of each other in anything that they do. Like their entire family is super supportive in anything they do, and they're just hilarious and so fun to watch. And it's crazy because, I mean, imagine having your not that I have any siblings, but imagine having your siblings,
I do.
you know, right? Like you can relate more to this, but the stress of having your sibling not competing against your sibling because that's something completely different, but you being worried for your sibling to like, oh my god, they just crashed. Like, are they okay? What's
Obviously,
going
yeah.
on? You know, like it's
Because
it's
you're
stressful.
always going to worry about their well-being before you worry about, like where they position.
Competition,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course. But I feel like it was so lovely to watch too, because it was
Hmm.
always like us against them versus
Hmm.
me against all of them kind of
Yeah,
thing, right? And they did try to, for a little bit, villainize the dad.
yeah,
But
they
like,
did.
obviously if you finish the show, you see that this is really what he wants for her girls to be happy, because this is what
Hmm.
makes them happy. And he just tries to push the discipline behind the sport more so than trying to push the girls themselves, right?
Yes.
And it goes with the culture as well. I feel like a lot of probably Middle Easterns would agree.
Hmm.
Um, and at the end of the day, he is investing a lot of money into his girls. And
Well, he also used to
yeah,
race, and he's won races too, so he knows what it's like. He understands the discipline that needs to be behind it. He understands how hard these girls need to work. And I really like that he's still very Middle Eastern
yeah.
in saying you need to have a plan B and need to finish school. Racing, like as much as racing will be your everything, you need to have a plan B in case that does not work out. And I think it really has worked well for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think for the first couple of episodes, or the first times that we saw them, that was coming across as, like very like
Stern.
strict, and yeah. But I think, if you see this show to completion, you understand where he's coming from, and
Yeah.
that he really just
He
wants to
really
see
is
them
just a
thrive.
loving father.
Yeah, and even when things go wrong, like, he's just there to support them
Yeah. Their
regardless.
mom is also very supportive too. You can see her throughout the show as well, and she's very supportive of both of them and just wants they both just want their kids to be happy. That's
Yeah.
all they want. And as a parent, yeah, that's all you can want for your kids.
Another thing, I think we're gonna just speak highlights. Like I said, I overall love 90% of the way the show was done, and the content and the message that came across from it.
Hmm.
So another one of the highlights, good highlights that I'm gonna say, it's Dorian Pont, her appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel show. That
She
was
is
so
so
sweet.
cute. Yeah.
And one of the things that I really love that they covered when they're doing her makeup and her hair, and you can tell she feels so out of her comfort zone,
But she
right?
also felt really confident. Like you can see the confidence just like, wow, you know?
And I think that's one of the reasons why Susie loves Dorian, because you can tell that regardless of if she's under a lot of pressure,
Hmm.
or outside of her comfort zone, or like feeling that like she's not doing her best, her confidence and her fierceness comes across regardless.
Hmm.
Like, on whatever situation you put her, her confidence just comes through before anything else. And I love that they show that girly aspect of it, to call it a thing, like doing
Hmm.
her makeup and her hair, to go on to a live show, and she's
Yeah.
just like, I feel like this is too much, but if
Yeah.
this is what I need to do, and she says it's if you're giving me a platform this big, I want to do it to inspire other girls, to show them that it's possible.
Right.
That, like, I started doing this locally in France with my dad, and now I'm, like, in LA
Yeah.
on one of the
Which is
top
crazy.
shows. And Louis was so happy for her too.
I think, oh my God, just seeing Lewis be so supportive throughout the entire thing was so sweet. And when
Because he does
Hamda,
say, he's like, I hate doing those shows, but you did so good.
yeah. And I loved the girls freaking out anytime that he would come by and just say hi because
At
he's
the end of
just
the day, he's
he's just
still Lewis Hamilton,
he's loved by
Yeah.
everybody. And it was so cute when the very last episode where Hamda won and or she got a podium.
Third.
Yeah, she got podium. And he goes, "Good job," and just walks. She's like, "Oh, thank you." She goes, "Oh my god, that was Lewis Hamilton."
I feel like
She's
she's
me.
all of us. She is all of us, I swear. And
That
there's
was so. She was like, "Oh my god,
she's hilarious. Like, I love her.
she's so
She's so
funny."
funny.
Oh
Um,
man.
but yeah, I mean, shout out to obviously like these are the highlights. Obviously, Abby Pulling, our champion,
Yes.
she is going to do amazing things. I don't think anybody should write her off. We
No, not
can
at all.
her story is still being written, and I would not put it past anybody to say that we will see her in F1 maybe one day. She's
I think so
talented
too.
enough. She's hopefully supported enough, and I think it's just a matter of time for her to make her way through all of the
Yeah.
categories and then see her at the
You
top.
guys buy her merch so she can continue on.
Yes.
We will be buying merch.
Dorian Pond, same. You
Yeah.
know, there's a lot of talent right now. Obviously, Maya, and
Chloe.
Chloe,
Yeah.
and the juniors. You know, like Ella, but they're all showing such good talent.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, we're gonna see them make mistakes, and they shouldn't be judged for that. We've all learned and or know that
Right.
F4 cars and then F3 cars are wonky to call them something. So there's gonna be a lot of accidents on their way to
Yeah.
the top. But I think it's coming. I think it's a matter of time.
Oh, I hope so. I hope within the next, I'm gonna predict next 5 years.
Same.
Yeah, next 5 years we're gonna see a woman in F1, and I'm so ready
Hopefully.
for it. I'm so ready for it.
And speaking about women on track,
Oh,
are you
oof.
guys ready? Formula One
Already,
movie, F1 movie.
already. Can we all agree?
I think we
To
can all agree on many things for this movie.
can we all agree that the romance was not necessary, and I need them to stop doing that because why? Like that was not necessary. Leave us alone. Sometimes we don't want to be with the main character.
Right? Sometimes we don't want to be with a man. Period.
That too. That too.
It is what
Sometimes
it
we
is.
just let us live.
Hollywood. Okay. I feel like, and I'm a Virgo. I don't know if anybody's going to,
If
like,
that means anything to anybody.
if that means anything to anybody. My brain works um in squares, so I'm really good at compartmentalizing.
Compartmentalizing.
Right, like this goes here, and then in a brand new square, this goes here. I know a lot of brains don't work like that, but that's just mine. I don't want to take away from one thing from a couple things they did right, and obviously the many they did wrong, right?
Right.
Because they got things right.
They got a lot of things right, and I'm not mad about it.
And
But
one thing I will say, Formula F1 movie has made how many millions this? I think this week they announced they crossed
more
the
than me.
400 million, 400 millions revenue at the box office. So it's going to do wonders for the exposure of the sport.
It's already done a really good job for the exposure of the sport.
We're thankful. I feel like everybody that is not in the, oh, it used to be so much better back when they didn't have halos, Anybody that is not in that camp is really happy that the sport is growing,
Mhm.
and then hopefully it's growing in a direction for the better, obviously not for the
I think
worse.
the consensus is that we're happy the sport is growing. We just hate that it's getting less cost effective.
True. 100%.
That's
Mostly
the
the
only
American
thing.
races.
Yeah, the American races are out of control. Like, what do you mean Vegas is 5 hours from me, but it's so expensive to actually get a ticket? Although by the end of the by the end, like
If you buy the day before, you'll be fine.
if you buy day of, they're practically giving them away because they are too expensive. Like,
If
what do you mean
nobody's going to buy them.
$10,000 for a seat that is blocked by something?
For all of the new fans, if you gotten this far in this episode, we appreciate you. Let this be our PSA.
Yes.
It is cheaper for you to fly from LAX to Heathrow and or Zandvoort and Spa-Francorchamps and get even like a hospitality for a day and or a GA for all 3 days than it is for you to go to Vegas and get on a grandstand. That's all we're gonna say because prices are insane.
Yeah, if you're a US fan, it is so much cheaper to fly yourself to Europe and go to one of those races instead of going to COTA, Miami, or Vegas. Although COTA is the one
Coda's
that's
a little bit, yeah.
the least expensive one, but it's still way more expensive than anything else.
Yeah, American races are out of control.
Yeah,
It
or
is not
Canada. Go to Canada. Mexico, I would say Mexico's also cheap, but it's not.
It's not. Mexico's really expensive as well.
As it should be.
It's It's honestly, it's not getting out of hand. It's been out of hand. Miami, since it started,
Yes.
Mexico has gotten out of hand, and I think
Obviously
Vegas
Vegas since it,
started
yeah.
out of hand. So, that being said,
Vegas from the moment they said, maybe we should do Vegas, out of hand. I was already paying for something. So
100%.
crazy.
Um, F1 movie definitely is going to make the sport grow. I think a lot of the fans that are coming in, the way I've witnessed it, I don't know about you,
Hmm.
we're trying to welcome them in a way that the fandom did not welcome DTS fans back then.
Hmm.
And I think it's becoming a healthier community. Um, you can see it, like we talked about this on the last episode. Even the activations at Silverstone are more inclusive, to
Yes.
new
There
fans,
was a
to
lot
women
of
fans,
activations
to
at Silverstone.
yeah. So I think that the sport is definitely, we're witnessing it every race weekend. The sport is growing, obviously due to the exposure that we've had on mainstream media, but I do think that it's been like a healthier growth than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, because I mean, Netflix documentary DTS definitely helped it be a little bit more exposed. I think, honestly, I think what really helped was the pandemic. Sad to say, but it did help because nobody had anything to do other than to watch stuff on Netflix.
Netflix.
And if you are very minimally interested in any type of motorsport, it was shown to you, and a lot of people came from that.
All right, so all of that basically to say, like, the fact that it has been like a box office hit.
Mhm.
The first time I went with my dad, and he knows the basics, right? So because of Checo, like, Mexican culture does know a little bit more, I think, of F1. If you put it against American culture, that it's basically like as a mainstream kind of media, it's a newish concept on the newer side. DTS forward. And my dad is kind of like familiar mostly with the like old school people, right? Like Prost and Senna and all of them. But I think one of the main reasons why it's a hit is because it's so well done. I presume my background is film, so like I worked in film production for a few years, and if you look at it objectively, as like the cinematography of it, the script is where it gets like a little faulty, but it's so well done. And as an action movie, if you're only taking in the action portions of it and the scenes where they're in the car and they're chasing and they're trying to take over positions and all that. It's honestly so well done. It's such a good action packed
I
film.
agree. The because I watched it twice. I watched it once regular, and I thought the cinematography, like, that was the first things I was like, oh, this is gonna be a cool movie just based on cinematography.
Yeah.
Script could do a little work, but cinematography wise, this was good. Sound wise, great. It was beautiful. And then the
soundtrack is so good.
The soundtrack is really good.
So good.
Yeah, the second time around, I watched it in 4D. Oh my god. I felt like I was in the car, and I think that's what they wanted. Obviously, they have that contract with Apple where on the phone, like the trailer, you could see, the movement and everything. You could feel it. If you watch it in 4D, you literally feel like you're inside this car. I had the rain, the water feature turned off, but I still felt it from my friend who went with me. And I was like, actually, it's not that bad. Let me turn it on. And then it's when it started raining in Silverstone last year. And I was like, I'm turning this back off because I was there in person. You got already getting rained on. I did not want to have this happen to me again at the movie theater. Are you kidding me? I turned that off. I said, I'm turning mine off, I'm turning yours off because I refuse.
That's so funny because we literally went to Silverstone the day it rained.
Yeah.
And we literally got
the
all
day they were
rained
filming
on.
it. Yeah.
That's so funny. You got to live that twice.
I literally got to live it twice, and it was horrible. If you don't get me by now, I hate the rain. I am a California girly through and through. But
that's so funny.
Oh my god, I was like, no, I refuse. horrible in person.
I don't blame you. I probably would not have even turned it on at all. Like, no, I lived it in real time. I got curious. Thank you.
Yeah, I got curious.
I feel like a lot of us didn't realize how long it was. I went in thinking it was like a 1 hour and change, 2 hours.
All movies now are more than 2 hours.
I literally looked it up on my phone because my dad was like, I want to go to the restroom. When do you think it's a good time? And I was just like, oh, you should just go now because this is nowhere near at, like the end. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, it was so long. And you know what? Going along with how long it was, I noticed that it was the dialogue at least was so slow. So slow. Like, the pacing of it was super slow, and that added to the amount of movie time in general, but it was just so slow. There was moments where I was like, speak, say your line, like, come on.
And even then, I feel like the dialogue just didn't actually help.
It wasn't very natural.
The message of it. Kate Condon did such an amazing job, I think. Regardless of what her character told the story, I think her as an actress did such a phenomenal job. Mm-hmm. So did Damson. Javier Bardem, as you guys know.
0 notes.
Love him. My favorite character of the movie, I think, was Javier's. And obviously his performance was amazing. I think that if you having to talk about this movie post Silverstone is really funny because we all say like, oh, that would never happen, you know, he's past his prime, blah blah blah, and then here comes Nico Hulkenberg, right?
Literally.
And we're all like, oh god, no, this is the worst time for this to happen.
Whoever said Nico was past his prime, please
zip it. There is no room for Nico hate in this podcast. On the internet.
I was gonna say there is no room for bullying or hate. Anyways, well, actually, hate. I'm the world's biggest hater, but
in general, like not towards anybody.
Yeah, not towards anybody. Just, you know, be mindful. If we do see bullying in our comments or any hate towards someone specific or anything, that you will be deleted. You will be probably blocked. And don't say we didn't warn you.
I don't like blocking people, but we will delete it.
Oh, I'll block people. If you're blocked, just know it was me.
Yes. So I think Brad Pitt, he is obviously one of the biggest A-listers in the world. I wasn't shocked to see that he did a good performance in it, but also it was his movie, right?
I'm not the biggest Brad Pitt fan.
But that's subjective.
And I don't think it is objective because it was a big thing. When we could have had Patrick Dempsey.
But it was Pitt's movie, though.
I know.
So, like, he wanted it done. He pitched it. He put in the money.
I'm telling you, I'm the world's biggest hater.
And regardless of what you think of him as a person, which everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and I agree.
You know what? Yeah.
He's an actor, and we're judging his performance, not what he does outside of... Yeah, it kind of
staring at Brad Pitt's face for 3 hours, but...
Yeah.
As far as it goes, as far as the script goes, as far as the movie goes, he did his job.
He did his job.
That's all I'm willing to say. He did his job.
I think that's a perfect way to put it, yeah.
He did. He went in there every day and did his job.
Damson Idris, however.
He went above and beyond, and I love him, and he deserved a bigger part.
So good. And speaking of bigger parts, right, Ashley Simone was completely edited out of the movie.
She got a 0.2 second cameo. Are you kidding me?
0.2 second cameo. From being a role in the movie. If you don't know what we're talking about, Ashley Simone was supposed to be love interest of the character of Damson. Mm-hmm. And they ended up completely editing her character out. We don't know why, but if anything, I think this is a good liaison to talk about the way women are portrayed in this film, which is why a lot of us are very discontent with the movie.
The one I will say that was not discounted or anything was the female engineer that was back at the factory, that when they were doing the testings and everything like that, she was portrayed so well, and I think they did that role, just that particular role, well. Yeah, that one role so well. She knew what she was doing. She knew the answer. They didn't portray her as like ditzy and like a know-it-all or anything. You can tell she knew what she was doing, and she did her job correctly, and there's a reason why she had a job there, you know? Everybody else...
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
First of all, just the narrative that women need men in their lives to thrive or to come to through a breakthrough or to be validated in any way, aspect, shape, or form, let alone in this particular case in their profession, right? So
Yes.
if you've gotten to the point where you are a mechanic or like a, you know, like let alone a technical director in a Formula One team, is because you are some of the best that there is in the world. For them to have that story, and I'm not even talking about the romantic love interest. I'm talking about them not having a good car until there's that scene where it's like, oh, let's sit down, let's have a beer. And then all that happens is just, he basically says, fix your fucking car. Like, right? he pulls a total wolf on her.
He says,
and all of a
fix the
sudden,
car.
she has a better car. Like, all she needed all this time was for men to come and tell her to do her job. Not how to do her job.
Isn't it so
to do her
ironic,
job.
though, that the point of her character was to prove people wrong, but the way that they're portraying her is not any way for her to prove as a woman that you're proving people wrong? Like, what? They're portraying her the opposite of what her character is trying to do.
Yeah.
Which is so...
To diminish her role
Yeah.
in the movie like that, why did you bring her in the first place then? Why did you make it a
Why
woman?
would you also, if you knew you were going to do something like that, why would you make that her background?
Exactly.
If you were going to disrespect her in that way, why would you make that her point?
And
Why
that's
would you
not
do
even the biggest disrespect of that character.
No.
The fact that y'all had to make it her like Brad Pitt's love interest, and it wasn't his.
There wasn't anybody else you guys could have found.
And it wasn't even like a well-developed love story, because it's not a love movie. It's an action-packed motorsport movie. There was no need
rom-com.
to bring in romance.
Like there's nothing.
They killed the women characters were two-dimensional. You didn't give them a background. You tried to give them a narrative to bring across, which you completely defeated by diminishing their roles and the way you told their stories and making them so two-dimensional.
I agree.
The mechanic is just
I was just gonna say, the mechanic, like, you guys made her so ditzy for
what?
It's literally her job.
She got there because of something.
Nobody else could have done that. You guys couldn't have had any other mechanic mess up. It had to be her. And then we also had...
And then him
mom.
Validating, like, oh, like,
it's
you
okay.
know, like...
And then you guys had the redeeming moment of, hey, don't say that in front of people. Don't say it at all. Don't put it in the movie at all. That was not necessary.
It's that simple. It's that simple.
It was not necessary. Then the mom, when they walk in and she's like, oh my god, he's so pretty. That didn't need to be happening. Because Brad Pitt is not pretty.
Yeah.
If it was Patrick Dempsey, okay, I'll let it slide.
Every women character had to revolve around a man at some point. And I feel like that's where they screwed up
wife of
big time.
the team principal just came in with her kids, you know, playing in the car and everything. That she didn't need to be portrayed like that. Like, it's fine, yeah, they have kids and everything, but she didn't need to be portrayed as the kid's nanny. Like, that's their mom and their dad. You know, it's... I don't know. It's
just the narrative
the whole narrative for women.
That women need men in their lives to accomplish anything, to thrive, to have a breakthrough, to do something right. Yeah. It was so unnecessary. Y'all didn't do it with one character. You did it with all three characters. And what was the point? Like, what really was the point? Yeah. I feel like, to an extent, that was... I mean, that had to be done on purpose. Because...
And then the girl that everyone quotes for the club scene for Carlos Sainz, like, really?
Yeah, can you introduce me to Carlos Sainz?
Like, that's a joke, yes, and ha 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 funny.
It would be me.
But it's like...
But...
really? That's all you think we care about?
Yeah. That did not do anybody any favors. And the uphill battle that women continue to fight on motorsport, on, you know, like, inside all of the professionals working at the circuits, on any kind of industry, you know, like the women that do the technical jobs, the women that do the mechanic jobs, the women that do the press jobs, the women that do the customer service, the fans, the racers, all the women. It's an uphill battle.
Now that you're saying that, did you see the interview at was it Silverstone? I think it was Silverstone, where Bernie, she went up to all the women in all the teams and was interviewing them because she said absolutely not. So she was going around, and I love that because there needs to be more representation, not more representation,
accurate representation.
Not more accurate representation, but just more. We have to see them more viewership of women in these roles. Currently, we have the Haas principal, Esteban's engineer, Laura. She's been shown quite a bit, and she's pretty much the only one we see other than the reporters like Ruth Buscom and Laura Winter and everything like that. But there needs to be more, like, there are more women on track, and that's what Bernie was doing, was showing the women that are actually on track, working, being engineers, being mechanics, being, everything and everything. And you don't see that on the day-to-day.
There is. I know that in our podcast Instagram, I try to actively find this account, and if we can, we're gonna drop them for you down here. There is like female in motorsport. There's a few accounts that like that is the entire purpose of them, highlighting women in motorsport across all industries, because obviously there is so many professions that go into the sport, right? You don't necessarily have to be in like an engineer to fall somewhere into a race weekend. But that being said, the movie generally, if you are a woman, I mean, don't take it personal, but it didn't do us any favors whatsoever.
Yeah, not at all. But moving on to what things they did do correctly. Other than the cinematography, what else can we say that they did correctly? I mean, the storyline. Oh, one thing that I want to say about the storyline is the rivalry with Lewis that Damson's character had. That was... Where was that? It was just at the very end where he's like, "I'm coming for you, old man." Where was the context for that line?
I just think it was like writer's way of giving Lewis some sort of highlight role.
I don't know.
I personally love the whole he's flying thing, because I think that does to an extent like depict what a lot of us feel like the racers experience on any given weekend, like when they're just like so in tune with the car becomes kind of like an extension of their body and it's doing exactly what it needs to do, and the driver is happy with it. I feel like that's probably, like the feeling. And for that feeling to translate to all the viewers, I think that is actually doing something right, or doing the sport justice in that sense.
See, I thought it was kind of cheesy, but
it is.
Like,
no, but it is.
I get it.
But it's still a Hollywood movie.
It was still nice. I liked it. The silence of it was very nice to see, and everything. It was great because the cinematography is great.
Yeah.
The cinematography wouldn't have been up to par. I don't think it would have hit the same.
Well, the sound design is actually really good. Yeah.
I don't think it would have hit the same if everything wasn't good, but it was kind of cheesy. But I think it was needed, like you said, to portray to everybody else what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what it's like to drive a Formula One car. I would like to, if any teams are willing to donate their Formula One cars to me.
Even if you have the opportunity.
Also, can someone teach me how to drive stick shift? Thanks.
So yeah, I think overall, obviously, as a whole movie exposing the details and the romanticizing of the sport to the world, great. But as women, the story that they're trying to tell of women in motorsport, which is the only and main reason that we have this podcast.
Literally.
No thanks. I don't know what you were trying to do there.
Did the summer of Barbie not teach you guys anything?
So yeah, honestly pretty discontent with that. But, we move forward. Hopefully the next project, the next big mainstream project will be better, and that's all we can hope, and that's all we can push and strive for. Other than that, closing remarks. Apparently Apple has put on a bid for the Formula One
because
streaming rights for next season.
ESPN didn't go for it, which is crazy.
I feel like we're all on the boat of, if F1 TV continues to be a thing, I don't really care.
Yeah, anything else is fine. I don't mind.
Don't take away my F1 TV. We will all be fine. We will all be good. Apple, you do your thing. But other than that, I think this is us for this week. What do you think?
I think think so too. I think this was a great episode. Just, personally.
My humble opinion. So yeah, we'll see you next week with Spa Francorchamps race. I think Spa is one of the, sadly, it comes with a lot of trauma, I think, because of what we've lost at Spa, but it is an amazing circuit. It's a
very scary circuit.
It's a scary circuit. Hopefully it won't rain.
Yeah, as a watcher, as a probably driver, it's a very scary circuit. It's very precise.
Don't realize this, and I think we've talked about this for the Barcelona Grand Prix. A lot of people don't realize the elevation, because you see it in the TV and it looks like it's all flat. Mm-hmm. Spa is one of the ones with the biggest elevation. Like they're saying that it's about 60 meters, which I don't know. Like a 20-something story tall building.
Right.
Is the elevation of some of those curves.
It's a lot.
It goes up and it's steep. I think that's what makes Spa a great circuit to race on, and to reach those high speeds, in those corners with such elevation and with such force. That's what the entertainment is about.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is gonna be your first race. You'll have so much fun.
Yeah, you're in for all the original 4, right? Silverstone, Spa, Monaco, they're all amazing races to watch. So we'll see you here next week.
There does, have a history to it. I think Spa is one of the most, other than Silverstone, it's one of the other circuits that has some of the most lore. And,
iconic, yeah.
Yeah. So it's great to, catch up a little bit on it. There's a lot of people that are doing threads on Twitter or on Instagram. There's some stuff too. So catch up a little bit on it. There's going to be some stuff that you'll be confused on, but it's a quick catch up.
All right. And so we'll see you next week with Spa recap. Laguna Seca is also happening on IndyCar. Hopefully another award win. We'll keep you posted on that one. And yeah, thank you if you've made it this long, thank you for sticking with us.
Yes, thank you. This has been a long one. Bye.